The auction house on Kepler 4 for to be reeked of desperation and disinfectant. Oscar stood before the reinforcement glass partition, his neural implant flickering with translation algorithms as he studied the merchandise. Row upon row of crystalline pods lined the walls, each containing a sentient being whose civilization had lost the galactic debt wars. Please buy us, human. The voice crackled through the audio feed. Oscar's attention snapped to Pod 47. Inside, a Thorkreen warrior floated in suspension gel, her 6 limbs folded in a posture that her species reserved for unconditional surrender. Her exoskeleton bore the scars of plasma burns, testament to battles fought in humanity's name during the third expansion. The nameplate read, ORLA 7 days Igna Warrior Prime, you specifically? Oscar asked, his voice flat. He'd learned not to show emotion at these places. Sympathy drove up prices, my clutch sister and I, Orla responded. Her compound eyes, capable of seeing in 16 dimensions of light, fixed on him with unsettling precision. Pod 48. We served aboard the Terran Vanguard for 7 cycles. We know human custom. We know human weakness. We are valuable. Oscar glanced at Pod 48. Another Thalkreen, nearly identical to Orla but with fewer battle scars. The data screen showed her designation, ORLA 12 Designatus, where Orla 7 had been bred for war. Orla 12 had been designed for quantum mathematics. The Thalkreen hive worlds defaulted on their terawatt bonds, Oscar said, reciting the official history. 47 trillion credits. The Galactic Commerce Tribunal ruled that our bodies are now commodities. Orla 7 finished. Yes, human, we know. We fought to prevent this. We failed. Oscar checked his credit balance on his wrist display. The auction was ending in 20 minutes. Orla 7 and Orla 12 were lot 47 to 48, bundled together. Current bid, 180,000 credits. He had 195,000 to his name, his entire savings. From 3 years working the deuterium mines on Titan, he'd come here looking for labor units for his new terraform operation on Ross 128b. Planet was a frozen hell of ammonia, ice, and methane storms. But the rare earth deposits were worth fortunes. He needed workers who could survive the hostile environment, beings who wouldn't complain about the brutal conditions. He hadn't come here expecting warriors to beg. Why should I buy soldiers for a farming operation? Oscar asked. Orly 7's antennae twitched, the Thalkreen equivalent of a bitter laugh. Because, human, your species taught us that survival requires adaptation. My combat algorithms can optimize defense grids against meteor strikes and solar radiation. My clutch sister can calculate planetary stress models and predict seismic events with 97% accuracy. We do not merely fight and compute, we survive. Oscar pulled up their full dossiers on his neural feed. Orly 7 had commanded a battalion during the siege of Proxima Station. She'd held a defense line for 48 hours against Kryn raiders while human colonists evacuated. Official commendations 12. Kill count, 4,217 confirmed. Orla 12's record was equally impressive, though less bloody. She'd calculated the trajectories for the relativistic missiles that ended the Andromeda incursion. Her quantum models had saved an estimated 2 million human lives, and now they stood in auction pods, waiting to be sold like mining equipment. The war was supposed to make the hive worlds rich, Oscar said quietly. You fought for Earth's colony. We promised you trade agreements, technology transfers. Yes, Orla 7 said. And then your corporations changed the terms. The debt multiplied faster than we could repay. Compound interest. You called it a weapon more devastating than any plasma cannon. Oscar felt something twist in his chest. He'd been on Titan when the first Thorkreen auction went live. He'd watched the news feeds with the other miners, most of them cheering. Cheap labor, they'd said. The aliens got what they deserved for trusting Earth's financial sector. He'd kept his mouth shut then. He was keeping it shut now. 3 minutes until lot closure, the automated system announced. Oscar looked at the 2 Thalkreen sisters. In the wild, their species was magnificent apex predators with intelligence to rival humanity's greatest minds. In these pods, they were products. Inventory. His finger hovered over the bid button. 195,000 credits. Every cent he'd saved. If he bought them, he'd have nothing left for equipment, for supplies, for the 1,000 other expenses that terraforming demanded. He'd be starting his operation in debt, dependent on these 2 aliens to make it work. If he didn't buy them, someone else would, someone who'd see them as disposable tools, someone who'd work them until their exoskeletons cracked and their neural clusters burned out. If I buy you, Oscar said slowly, I need honesty. Can you really help me terraform an ice world? All 12 spoke for the first time, her voice softer than her warrior sisters. Human, my people, terraformed. 17 moons before your species achieved fusion power. Give me your planetary data, and I will show you wonders. 1 minute until lot closure. Oscar closed his eyes. He thought about debt and destiny, about warriors reduced to slaves, about the ugly mathematics of empire. He thought about how his own grandfather had been sold into labor contracts during the water wars of 2089, how his family had clawed their way out of bondage 1 generation at a time. He pressed the button. Final bid, 195,000 credits. Lot 47 to 48, sold to Oscar Chen, Terran Registry 771 Alpha. Through the glass, Orlisivan's antennae straightened in what might have been relief or might have been resignation. The suspension gel drained from both pods. The sisters emerged, their exoskeletons gleaming under the harsh auction lights. Thank you, human, Orlisivan said, and Oscar hated how much gratitude was in those words. Don't thank me, he replied. Just help me build something that matters. Something that's ours. As the sisters were processed for transfer, Oscar checked his account balance one last time. 0 credits, 0 safety net. Just 2 alien warriors, a frozen planet, and the faint. A desperate hope that the future might be different from the past. Outside, through the dome's transparent aluminum, Ross 128B hung in the void like a promise or a threat. Oscar couldn't tell which, but he would find out. Together they would all find out.